making terrible fucking jokes about Ron DeSantis or talking about some shit we did back in high school.
I know. And anyone that was our friends back then knows that that's just what Tyler and I do all day, all the time.
Yeah, I've been out of high school for 12 years, 13 years this next year, and not a whole fucking lot has changed.
You've been out of high school 13 years already?
No, 12 years as of June. So, yeah.
You already had your 10-year high school anniversary?
No, fuck no. It got canceled because of COVID, which was awesome.
Oh. Well, it was better than mine. Mine got canceled because no one wanted to show up. I think 4 people showed up.
Everyone kept arguing. They're just like, well, why don't we do it in the park so everyone that has kids can bring their kids? And I was like, well, I don't want to be a dick, but I didn't go to high school with your kid. So,
right.
Or we could do it
at the fucking school. No one.
Or someone went to high school with owns a fucking distillery, and he's like, we could do it at my restaurant. There's, okay, cool. Food, booze has already been taken care of, and people are like, well, I don't know about that. And I was like, well, after listening to everyone argue, and then the pandemic broke out, I was like, well, I still talk to the people I want to talk to, and that's it. That's good enough for me.
Right. Speaking
That's
of
the way I felt
good
about
enough,
when my 10, 15, and 20-year reunion came around.
Dave's 10-year high school reunion got canceled because of 9/11.
Graduation. Yeah, I graduated in 2001. That was actually right after graduation. On the other side. Yeah, that's right.
Well, speaking of on the other side, we're on the other side of the season of F1, and we have only 2 races left.
Good.
One of those races
That's a segue.
includes the Sao Paulo, Brazil, Interlagos,
and with that, no, Interlagos. Wow,
Interlagos.
It's at Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. With that, we are the Tire Preference Podcast. We welcome you here to talk about Formula One shit.
Formula One accessories.
Yeah, just everything that has to do with Formula One that we've thought about in our ADD riddled brains. So bear with us. And with that, I am Jake here with Dave.
Oh,
and Tyler.
Hi.
All right, gents, let's get some of the stuff out of the way here. So we usually like to have a beer or two when we're doing this podcast, just kind of relax. It's a pretty casual setting. We just wanted to make it seem like we're just a bunch of group people just having a couple beers talking about Formula One stuff. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, sorry. Yep, that's what we do.
What was that? Yep, that's exactly what we do.
I don't know. That accent sort of caught me for a second. I thought I was going to start cackling because of it.
So how did you catching yourself?
Yeah,
trying to skirt away.
Yeah. So anywho, where were we?
So I'll go first. I am not having any beers this time because I am dealing with some terrible food poisoning. We all know how that goes. So I'm just having sparkling waters. It's kind of like beer, but there's no alcohol in it.
Or hops.
Or sugar. It's really just carbonation. And it comes in a can.
Tastes like
there's
static.
Water in it. Those are the only 3 things.
that
tastes like static.
Yep.
Spicy water.
Yeah, it tastes like it's sat next to a pallet of a fruit on the way over. hint of lime.
Actually, I'm going total sociopath, and it's just water flavored water, but it's just sparkling.
Ew. God.
It tastes like the inside of a can.
It tastes like TV static.
Yeah, exactly.
It tastes like PBR almost.
That's debatable.
Yeah,
Highly debatable.
No, I don't think so on that one.
Just like in the fact that it tastes like the inside of the can.
Yeah. Anywho, I am not drinking alcohol, so I'm still polishing off that case of Sierra Nevadas I got last week.
Nice.
Dave,
I want local this week. Rocking Florida Keys Brewing, or wait, is it Key West? Key West? Nope, just Florida Keys Brewing. Sun Session at PA.
Nice.
Pretty good. Only
It's okay.
4.7, but I feel like that'll be helpful for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of brings us to our next segment. Dave, where the hell are you? Because we actually have an update now. Remember,
We did
don't give
last
us the
week.
lot number. Oh, did we?
Yeah,
I
but it's
thought
cool. I'm still here close to Key West. I'll say
that's
that.
right.
In the Key West area.
I
Rocking
don't
and
know why,
rolling
but I
here
thought you were still in
in the
transition.
in the heavy winds.
Oh yeah, in the ass end of the hurricane.
Yeah, we're at the bottom of it.
That's not the ass end of the hurricane. I feel like at this point
It's
probably
it's like the front bottom part of it, but we're at like the edge
The
where
bosom.
it's like 30 mile an hour winds.
Dave's at the balls of the hurricane right now.
He's getting teabagged by the hurricane.
He's
Isn't
Yeah,
the
pretty
hurricane
much.
like named Nora or something?
Yeah, he's getting
Nicole.
teabagged by Nicole.
Nicole.
Oh God.
But it's passing.
There's a lot to unpack there. So let's get on to it. So the thing, well, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about some new stuff. We're going to talk about, like I said, the Brazilian Grand Prix, give our predictions and all that stuff. We're going to do a little bit of rumor corner that we think we touched on last week, but who the fuck knows? So starting off, and we can talk about a gruesome death that I found in my research. It is fucked up, but if we want to go down that rabbit hole, we certainly can. Now,
is it F1 related?
It is F1 related, but
someone got stabbed to death outside of the track.
It did not happen at Brazil.
Oh.
It happened in South Africa.
Oh,
that's the wrong south.
Yeah, we're not
on that continent.
Hey, we're talking about the Brazilian Grand Prix, but do you guys want to talk about a gruesome death that happened in South Africa?
We don't have to. We can save it for another podcast if you want.
Oh, we can bring it up later. I mean, we'll see where the evening takes us.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, we are going to what is lovingly known as Interlagos. The actual name of the track is the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, which is
what does Autodromo mean?
It means Autodromo. It's an indigenous
What's the dromo
word.
part?
There was a tribe of Brazilians that lived in the rainforest that were indigenous to the land, and they had the word autodromo.
All I'm saying is language came from somewhere, all right? Every language was an indigenous language at some point, I'm sure.
Did you Google it? Did you just Google what autodromo means?
No, I didn't, because auto definitely means car, and dromo probably means like place that shit happens inside
wasn't
of.
That
like a dome?
It's the same as it was in Mexico City too, wasn't it?
We're painting broad strokes with nouns here, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Dromo just means a fucking place where shit happens.
Yeah, and it's the same in
Brazil,
Italy too.
Wouldn't it be in Brazil? Wouldn't it be in fucking like Portuguese? Not Spanish? Or it's the same in fucking Italy?
Yeah.
Well, then I don't know what the fuck, man.
Well, that's
maybe
because,
Autodromo is international.
You could
it's
argue
an international word.
I hate to say that Jake was right, but if I Google translate Autodromo,
I'm just using context clues here.
Oh no, that's Italian. We want to do this in
how the fuck would it be different?
I don't fucking know. I want to do
Grazie
this right.
and gracias are the same fucking thing. They just have a different accent.
Autodromo in Portuguese means racetrack.
Okay, so yeah, I wasn't too far off. Like, what is a racetrack? It's a place where cars are inside of a thing.
Yeah, okay, you're only saying that because you were painting in the broadest of strokes a minute ago when you said that it's a place where shit happens.
At least I was fucking painting in strokes.
That's like you know what? It's something that's carbon based. And yeah, so
I'm just saying I might have had the medium-sized paintbrush on MS Paint, not the biggest block.
MS
You're the
Paint.
fucking roller.
You want to hear about
this was going to be an easy one to edit because I'm not going to edit shit out. This one's staying pure, uncut.
You get the uncut gems on this one. All right, Jake, sorry, continue.
So this racetrack has 15 turns.
What's going on over there, Dave?
Don't worry about it.
Poking his wife.
All right, sorry, go on.
So It is a counterclockwise track, which is kind of fun because we only have a few of those, mostly in America, but we have one in Brazil. So there are 15 turns. It's a 71 lap race. The lap distance is 2.6 miles. If you want to know the camp, you can go look it up because Yo Flag ain't on the fucking moon, but ours is. Total distance of the race is 189 miles.
Fuck yeah. We set the gold standard.
Gold standard in foreign relations.
Yep. Oh God.
Fuck you. Whose flag's on the moon?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think China might have a flag on the moon right now.
They might.
Planted by a robot.
Yeah, not by Neil fucking Armstrong.
China did not send a robot up there. They sent a small man inside of a metal suit, and he just didn't come home. His only mission was to go there and put the flag in the ground. And then he, air quote, ran out of batteries, and he had to stay there forever, preserved in the moon dust.
And he was very happy to take this assignment job position. Yeah.
But yeah, so
sorry,
total race distance is going to be 189 and a half miles.
Yeah, sorry.
In height.
I couldn't hit the. Well, I had plenty of time, but it was deep in there.
It's a loosey goosey episode anyway. So
anyway, yeah, that's fine.
We're trying to rein it in. We're trying to.
It's all good.
Unlike last week, we have something to actually talk about. So we're not just trying to fill space the whole time. So the lap record was set by what man and what was the time? Don't look it up.
Maxwell Verstappen.
No.
1 minute and 2.5 seconds.
So no. So you're wrong on both.
How long have they been racing in Brazil?
On this racetrack,
yes,
specifically this adaptation of this racetrack, I think since the 80s.
Since they so a while. Well then, I mean, the fastest lap's got to be close to the modern era. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Fucking my boy Bottas, maybe.
Yep, Valtteri Bottas.
Hey,
wild guess gets it right.
Lap time was 1:10.54.
Is that 2019?
Probably. So the location is in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The track is known as Interlagos. It's kind of like a nickname for the track, which means between lakes.
Ooh, there's lakes around.
You looked up what that definition was, but you didn't look up what autodromo means.
Well, so on my research website, they had the definition for Interlagos, and they did not for Autodromo because they didn't call it Autodromo Jose Carlos Base. They called it Interlagos.
Just okay. Sorry, continue.
So it is located between two man-made lakes. It is I have it right here. The Gura. I practice this because I don't know how to pronounce Portuguese words, but here we go.
Portuguese is difficult.
Guararapinga. Guararapinga.
Somehow I feel like Uncle Julio would be a little disappointed with you.
He didn't speak Spanish or Portuguese.
Yeah, he probably didn't, but he was half of both. So
the other lake that is it's in between is a little easier to pronounce. It's Billings, which I think is kind of funny.
Montana.
I guess
that's what I thought too.
I just like someone's gonna be saying something really suave in Portuguese, and they're gonna have to end it with Billings.
Or there is no lakes between that side of Interlagos and Billings, Montana.
Yeah, there's not a fucking gulf at all. You know?
Yeah, there's that. Well, yeah, exactly.
So, these are man-made lakes, so they look like parasites on a map. It kind of like Lake of the Ozarks. It just looks like something that grows in your intestine and eats all the food that you try to put down your gullet.
Yummy.
It looks like what's inside your intestine right now.
Right. The land was originally bought in 1929 for housing, but due to the stock market crash, they decided to build a racetrack instead.
That sounds fiscally sound.
I fucking love that decision making.
I
Like,
know.
oh,
These people aren't
fuck.
going to be able to afford to live here anyway, so why build houses for them?
Yeah, we can't build a house here, so let's build a racetrack.
Racetrack. Yeah.
In 100 years, we might benefit from this.
The track was completed on May 12th, 1940.
When did they start it?
Well, they bought the land in 29. I think they started building the racetrack 38.
Okay. I read that it's like the 20s.
Oh, sorry.
I just thought like 1920 for a second. I was like, it took them 20 fucking years to build the racetrack.
It was bought in 1926, but because of the stock market crash in 29, they didn't build the housing. They built a racetrack. The real name of the track, as we've said, is the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. It's named after the F1 driver who died in 1977 in a private small aircraft crash.
Was he Brazilian?
He was a Brazilian.
Oh.
He wasn't from Sao Paulo. He was from another area, but I don't remember where that was. He had a pretty short career, a couple of podiums, but he did win on this track in 75. It was his only victory he ever had.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. His first race is in 72. The first race on this track was a non-championship race in 1972, and then the first championship race was in 73, and it was won by Sao Paulo local Fittipaldi. Yeah,
Fittipaldi.
yeah.
Isn't there a Fittipaldi trying to get into F1 now?
I don't know.
Maybe. Oh, that
Okay.
yeah, he was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think it's a different spelling though.
Yeah.
Let's see, the track used to be much bigger. It had many bumps. So I write notes on top of notes sometimes. So this is where Dave's
left the
this is
rails.
where Dave's editing magic can come in and make me not sound like I'm a fucking idiot. Thank you, Dave. We'll see what happens. So the track, it used to be much
Dave,
bigger.
I think you should leave it.
We're a professional podcast, Dave. Think of the viewers, listeners. I'm gonna start over.
Mom will think it's hilarious.
The track used to be much bigger and had many bumps. So F1 moved to this other racetrack in Rio. I have it written down here, but my pen smudged when I moved my hand over it, so I'm not going to try and tell you what it is. But it was a long, fun to say word because it's... Oh, here it is. Huacarepagua. Huacarepagua in Rio de Janeiro.
Good try.
I don't know if that's pronounced correctly or not. I just like the emphasis on the accent. Like, despite the fact that it is Portuguese, I still feel like you're trying to like read it with like if it was Spanish.
Hey, Portuguese is not an easy accent to do. I've tried before. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
So I moved to that racetrack in Rio de Janeiro, which is the hometown of Max Verstappen's soon-to-be father-in-law and casual racist, Nelson Piquet.
I don't know. Yeah.
Casual racist.
And also the baby daddy to she's the baby daddy to a former Red Bull F1 driver. Not Daniel Ricciardo, Danny Kvyat. Her and Danny Kvyat have a baby.
Oh, no shit. So Max
that goofy
motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Rich,
weird looking.
Russian. Rich Russian. Rich.
Yeah, he's Ruski.
In Russia, there's no middle class. There's people that have all of the money and then people that can eat bread. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
He was a bread eater, but there was things that he was also eating with the bread.
Like Clams.
Or he had just like fucking dinner rolls. I don't know. Or whatever the fuck they eat in Russia, like caviar and vodka and cigarettes.
Just eat cigarettes.
Yeah. He just lights them and chews on it.
I like to smoke the cigarette filter first.
I like to think that his like race helmet had a little like cigarette hole in it.
Yeah, that's a little hole in the fireproof balaclavas.
Yeah.
Baklava? Which one's the dessert? Which one's the IRA thing? Balaclava? Anyway, $15 million and many years later, Interlagos had its permanent F1 slot in 04.
Hey.
They did a lot of racing on the track, and it had 5 or 6 different iterations, but it wasn't until 04 when it got its G1 certification.
What does G1 mean?
It's
Just,
that it's the
I mean, like, what does it
Goodest
stand
one.
for? Goodest one.
yeah, goodest one. It's the FIA's grade 1. We talked about it a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah, it's like how they rate.
Well,
the
that's just what I
tracks or
want.
something.
I just want to know what the G standed for, I guess.
G stands for grade.
Grade one.
Grotesque.
Weird.
Grade
That'd be something
one.
cool.
Grand.
Goodest.
Grand one.
Great.
Good. Like, yeah, goodest. I like goodest. I'm going with
Yeah,
goodest.
goodest the better. Is the
Goodest.
I think goodest is the more gooder one to use.
Yeah.
What's that old
more
word
better
for
to say
happy? Used to
gooder.
mean happy.
Goodest.
Starts with a G.
Gay.
Yeah.
Dave's had to bleep himself out.
No, I don't. That was perfectly in context. You said an old word that starts with G that means happy.
Yeah,
I said
that's
gay.
true. It was the tone. It was the fact that what was that word? The gays. Fuck, man, you've been in Florida for like a week and a half.
Well, a lot of action has happened here on this racetrack. Alonso won both of his F1 titles here in 05 and 06. Yeah.
Wasn't it back in
I was
05 and
unaware.
06? Wasn't this the last race on the calendar too?
I think it was the last race on the calendar in those times.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Interlagos has the forever pit lane. It lasts forever. If you can look up a map of the fucking racetrack, it enters in turn 15, which they call Cuervacadas.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that is long.
And it pops out just after Curva del Sol and Reta Oposta.
Good Lord.
Sorry, where does it start again?
Turn 15.
First
So it
Grand
goes from
Prix,
turn 15 to turn
1973.
1. Christ on
What's
a
that?
cracker. Yeah, no shit. That is fucking long.
It's fucking long. So I have here the corners. If you want to follow along, I'm going to do my best to butcher their proper pronunciation, and then I'll
Yay.
tell you what they translate into.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
So-
we're all along for this ride.
S Senna is Senna S, and it's turns 1 and 2. Curva de Sol, curve of the sun. That's turn 3.
Yeah.
Does that like go right into the sun at like sunset or some shit?
I think it's curved slightly like the sun is.
Oh, big.
And they're
sweeping.
like, this is a great name for this.
This
All
is
right.
curved like the sun.
The sun in like a quarter of the sun. Like we're using the shadow.
I'm willing to bet it probably turns directly into the sun, depending upon what time of day you're racing.
Sure, but that's kind of dumb. Let's just say that. I think all racetracks need to
That's more dumb than what your fucking answer was. It's curved like the sun.
No, I think your answer is correct. I think sending it
Oh.
straight into the sun is dumb because it's just going to cause
I thought
accidents.
you were saying that like naming it that way is stupid.
No.
Okay.
Then we have Descenda de Logo, and that's Lake's Descent. That's turns 4 and 5.
Because it goes probably downhill there.
Yeah, Descent, Lake's Descent. I think so. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. The other one is Ferradura. It means horseshoe. That's 6 and 7. This next one,
I would accept that.
this next one is a little complicated because there's a lot of straight up and down consonants in there, which can be tricky at best. I'm pretty sure that it's
Go on.
Pinheirino. Pinheirino.
What do you think that means?
I'll tell you what it does mean. Oh fuck, I missed one. I skipped the turn. I skipped Laranjinaha.
Which means around here.
It means little orange.
Oh.
And the next one that I'm not going to do again, it means little pine tree.
And what number is this? Where are we at?
9. We're at 9.
Little orange and little pine tree.
I don't
All
know.
right.
Maybe they're like walking around the track and they saw some, street child eating an orange, and they're like, "Oh, the little orange. That was a perfect name for this third."
Or if it was the 2 trees out in the field and they're like, and you go, I'm not even going to try. Let's just assume that they're like,
You were like Greek street merchants for a second.
let's just assume that like, race fans in Brazil are like Brazilian rednecks. So they would talk like rednecks in America. And they're like, why don't you go around the fucking orange tree and hook turn that bitch around the pine tree and fucking, yeah.
I like where your head's at. But I think we need to be a little more literal. And
Literal.
that orange tree and that pine tree are both little.
Okay, so what if we call these miniature pine tree, miniature orange tree?
Too many letters, and ain't nobody gonna
Okay.
be able to translate that into any other language because we have the most confusing fucking language on the goddamn planet.
Fucking A, right, we do.
Little.
All right, well, you want to take a motherfucking swing at it, Mr. Know-it-all letters person?
Little orange, little pine tree.
Fuck, that sounds good.
You want to hear the next
Little
one?
orange.
You want to know what the next?
Yeah.
You want to know what the next one is?
Riddle me the next one.
It's Bico de Pato.
Pico de Pato.
Pico de Pato, huh?
Yeah,
Is that like that Pico de Gallo?
it's close.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's the salsa corner.
You could use what this is to eat pico de gallo if you wanted.
Go on. What does it
It
mean?
means
Riddle the audience.
duck's bill,
That's what they call tortilla chips down there.
duck bills.
I don't know if they do or not, but it's good. Give me back them duck bills.
I want them salty, limey duck bills.
We're having a party tonight.
I don't want any duck bills. I would like Meller bills, please.
I don't give a flying fuck what you want. If you're coming over to my house, you'll eat whatever the fuck's there.
The next turn 11, is Mergulho.
And
what?
Mergulho.
And
all right, now what? Please take a stab at that one.
Dive.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, what was turn 4?
Turn 4 was Descenda do Lagos. Turns 4 and 5 are that. And then Horseshoe is 6 and 7, Little Orange is 8, Pine Tree is 9, Duckbill is number 10, and Dive is number 11.
all right, on to 12.
Okay, so 12 has like a bunch of little squiggly marks above and below the letters, which is just the silliest fucking thing in the world. Like, how is someone without perfect penmanship supposed to fucking write these goddamn things on a piece of paper? I don't know.
I really want to see what your your notes look like right now.
Right?
Well, I was trying to say these out loud.
They don't look like fucking Celtic runes or some shit like that.
I have to read my notes with a Ouija board eyeball. Whatever the fuck that thing's called.
Ouija board eyeball. I like that. That's what it's called.
Whenever Jake would write notes in college, we had to translate it after the class.
Well, because I would get bored with writing the notes halfway through, and then I would just draw pictures. I have Tyler getting fed by a conveyor belt. Because he's
we
so
had the same class to
big.
do.
We sat next to each other. It was awful.
That's not going to be disruptive at all.
It was
we both
okay.
passed the class.
Yeah, we passed the class.
The teacher liked us.
Mhm. So Junkao, which should not be confused with Juntao, which is a Chinese gangster in Rush Hour.
That's where my
Yeah,
mind went.
yeah, that's right. Was that Rush Hour 3?
No,
No, that was
one.
Rush Hour 1.
Was it?
It wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't actually a Chinese guy. He was a British national that had a bunch of Chinese.
Oh,
art.
that's the one. Yep.
Juntao.
Yeah.
That means junction.
Oh,
Conjunction, junction.
What's your function?
function.
Chow, Jun Chow. What's your Feng Chow? So the next one is cafe, which is coffee. In
They have a
native
term
tongue.
called coffee. That's
It's
cool.
cafe.
And then fucking hook her a little back more by the coffee cart over there. And that kind of
Hey,
knocks
cafe?
you by that cafe, and that ought to fuck you off in the direction you want to come back to make it full circle racetrack.
Yeah, so that's gonna be subida dos boxes.
What? Do it again.
Subida dos boxes.
Which is turn
Well,
14,
you so
right?
beat to
Yeah.
those boxes.
It means up to the pits.
Up to the pits.
Well,
I'll
up
say,
to the pits, but not the
I get it.
entrance to the pit.
And then the
I
last
get it.
turn, which is one of the most confusing ones. It's the longest word in the goddamn thing. It's arquibancadas. Arquibancadas. Arquibancadas.
Translation.
Bleachers.
Archipelago.
I didn't take fucking Spanish or I guess
It's
Portuguese.
Portuguese. It's
I
not
didn't
fucking
take-
Spanish.
I didn't take Portuguese. Sorry,
Jesus.
that's like my
And there's
anchor
not
language.
and there's not surprisingly not a lot of overlap between the two.
Oh, Christ.
I'm pretty sure cafe is used in all languages.
Nope.
Well,
What about Japanese,
Yeah.
Mister? I took Japanese.
I did take Japanese.
All right, so is just cafe used in Japanese?
No, no. Funny you should ask. It might be because I think the word
Oh.
cafe is a borrowed word, and Japan has a whole other half language that's just borrowed words. You know what the Japanese word for pen is?
Oh.
Pen. You want to say orange juice in Japanese?
Orange juice.
Orange juice. I'm not fucking. That is legit. That's real. All right, and just to kind of round it up, we're gonna go ahead and do the weather report because everyone likes that shit.
It's the weather. That was like
Coming
the
to you
lamest.
live from the streets of Interlagos for a weather report is
Yeah.
Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. He's in Dave's front yard right now.
Jake Showers. The
Jake
weathermen
Showers.
always have those
Jake
kind of goofy
Showers,
names.
yeah. Dave Storms.
Tommy Tsunami.
That was a good one. I like it.
All right. So let's see. What's Tommy Tsunami's voice going to be?
Tommy Tsunami. Oh, yeah.
This is Tommy Tsunami.
kind of
The voice for Tommy Tsunami is going to be like,
cough it out.
so on Friday, the weather's going to be partly mostly cloudy and
That's
rainy.
not Tommy Tsunami.
That is
then
not Tommy Tsunami.
Saturday.
No, that's
it's gonna
not Tommy
be-
Tsunami.
It's going to be thunderstorms.
It's like
That's
Ted
and
Drizzle
some
or something.
rain.
Yeah, that's Ted Drizzle right there. Tommy Tsunami is just like, on Saturday, it's going to rain. It's going to be super wet. Oh, yeah.
Just
gonna be-
like your wife when she sees me
Yeah.
without my shirt on.
Saturday's going to be wet, just like your mom. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah. She's going
that's
to need
Tommy-
adult diapers.
Tommy Tsunami is a mix of Duff Guy and Macho Man.
Duff man.
I just think it's funny to have like a really.
You said it was going to rain today. Duff Man says a lot of things. Oh, yeah.
I thought it'd be funny to have like a crazy Tommy Tsunami, like this is a shock jock, whatever the fuck, and then he's just like it's gonna rain on Friday.
Yeah, but that would
Oh,
that's going to be
You're
like.
trying to set up a bit.
Yeah, it was. That's all right. So
That's like-
I'm
Not all
They
bets
call
gonna
me,
work.
my name's Ronnie Rotation, and I talk about thunderstorms and stuff like that. And it's gonna be
we
kinda
also
wet
talk
on
about your
Sunday.
mom's hips,
Yeah, and your mom tipped the don't lie.
and they rotate around. Kind of like my name.
That's the voice that Jake got. It was not Tommy Tsunami.
That's awesome.
Well, okay, so Friday it's gonna be fucking mostly cloudy and fucking rain. It's gonna rain. And then Saturday it's gonna rain, thunderstorm, and Sunday it's gonna rain, and then that's all we really care about. Look, rain, rain, rain,
Don't rain, don't
There's
rain,
high-
don't rain, don't rain, don't rain.
Yeah,
High
so
rain
on
possibility.
Sunday I should tune into the race an hour late.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, no shit. Well, I can't even watch it until I don't even know my schedule yet, but I'm assuming I have to work Sunday at least until 9 if they open the cafe up as late as the bar.
Damn.
If they-
Well,
Well, they open it
maybe you
later
can put
for
it on at
when the
bar.
season gets busy, and it's going to start getting busy, so they're going to open us up later. Plus,
Well,
we got
it's
a new
like-
crew, so they got to spread out the shifts a little bit.
Aren't you guys about to be ravaged by a hurricane too? Don't you might maybe get the weekend off?
Nah,
No, it's passing north.
business
they don't
as
care.
usual. And actually,
Yeah.
that's supposed to die down in the next couple hours.
No, it's a category 1. You get your ass to work.
Yeah.
They,
What,
the
some kind of
last one that
bitch?
rolled through, they had 90-mile-an-hour winds, and there was like nobody here, and they went in the fucking bar area, which is like it's just got a roof on it, it's open, and they just got fucking shithoused, had a fucking hurricane party.
I fucking want to go to a hurricane party so bad. I think it'd
Dude,
be so
90
much
mile
fun.
an hour winds. They're sitting there fucking getting shithoused.
Yeah, as they're pouring drinks, like the bottles right here and the cups right here. The wind is just carrying it.
If it was like that now, this shit might be at risk of tipping, man. 90-mile-an-hour winds would scare me.
So what are you gonna like anchor it? You're gonna get some like mooring lines for your
No,
fucking
man. fucking- If we can't hightail it, we got insurance. We'll just go inside.
I was thinking about that. I was like, damn, so this thing's coming. Is Dave going to, take his trailer or whatever? Or is he gonna drop Trey and then go?
Dude, did you see
Krista
where
was-
the track was going? I would have had to leave like 2 days ago to get out of Florida to be out of the way of this thing.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
safest. Once we found out it was going to be not much where we're at, we're just like, this is the safest place to be for us right now.
But do
why
you
even try to
take your
get the fuck
trailer
out?
with you, or do you try and drive faster without it?
Oh, well. I mean, if we had something barreling down on us, that was more than just. It was just like if it's Cat 1 now, but it's going to die down to as it hits land, tropical storm. So, I mean, I just go inside, take the hit, and if we knew it was
goes
going
down
to
with the
be
ship.
serious coming at us, we'd have time to get out of here.
And he's running out the door of the trailer with the dogs, and you see Dave just standing there, and he just kind of comes back in and closes the door.
Like Mark
That's it.
Wahlberg.
Yeah, it's the captain goes down to the
George
ship,
Clooney.
but if you're in Florida, the owner goes down with the trailer.
Yes, that's
Not
how
where I
it
pay my lot fees.
Yeah.
works.
This is my piece of the pie. I'm going with it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
shoot the hurricane with my guns.
Yeah.
But anyway,
This is
it's passing
Obama's
by.
fault.
We're fine. Yeah, you can hear it in the
Thanks,
wind.
Obama.
Yeah.
It's Obama's fault.
It's just it's a Florida hurricane. It's just like racial slurs and CNN News, or not CNN, Fox
The Weather
News,
Channel.
and all those things swirling around.
You hear whispers of it here and there, but for the most part, nobody really talks about that shit, which is nice.
That's
I don't
good.
want to.
All right.
I don't want to hear about because it's a lot of old people and
Yeah, it's called
rich
God's waiting
people
room.
and
They
All
just
the
go
nuts
there
roll
and
down to
wait to
Florida.
die.
they want to vote against anything that makes young people happy.
Well,
Now,
they
I'm
didn't
gonna
have it
make-
when I was a kid. Well, they didn't have fucking Novocaine when you were a kid too. Do you get that when you go to the dentist?
Right?
Well, hell yeah.
Well, guess
My
what? You
teeth
get
hurt.
Social Security. I'm not going to get that, you fucker.
Yeah,
Right.
your participation trophy was the post World War II economy.
Right. Fucking A. Hey, Alaska wasn't a fucking state when you were a kid. You gonna get a passport to go there, you asshole? I didn't fucking think so.
Yeah, you dick.
You fucking dick. So,
You dick.
do you guys
Which, by
want
the
to
way,
hear?
how did the U.S. get away with that one?
They bought it from Russia.
Yeah.
Bought it from Russia. It's fucking Canada. You
Well,
know?
yeah,
bought
but
it from
Russia
Russia.
owned that part of Canada. They bought it from Russia.
I'm not saying it's the most ethical deal that ever went down in the history of forever, but like it's ours now. So you know what?
Can you imagine how the natives
Canada should be
felt?
pissed.
They were like, we're attached to this
Oh, yeah.
continent. Yeah, but we are owned by this other continent. We're not always attached to it. And then we are
Yeah.
sold to this
That's
further down south part of the continent.
that's
There are many differences between the two countries between us, yet here we remain.
Hey, but out of the deal, I got a card that says I can still hunt eagles. So that's pretty cool.
It's kind of cool. And they hooked me up with a nice snow machine so I can pedal up to other villages in the dead of winter if I so choose.
They're all dry villages, which is nice.
There are dry villages, but my mother and my aunt and many extended family live up there, so I'd like to go see them and fish and spend time.
Hey, let's do predictions about Brazil.
Yeah, now that we took a weird turn on that one, somehow we started in Florida and ended up in Alaska.
it was like turned out to be Alaskan NPR or something.
Yeah. Thank you for turning into cold air.
Right.
Oh,
Instead
new
of that,
podcast.
Like,
That's perfect.
That or whatever like tone like song they have. It's done with like a flute or something like that, and someone drumming. I don't think the Inuits listen to Lord of the Rings music.
They should.
Listen. When the light goes away, we begin watching The Lord of the Rings, and upon completion from the first episode until the end of it, the sun comes back.
All right, so let's do predictions about Sao Paulo, Brazil. Who wants to go first?
I don't want to take the helm on this one.
I'll take the helm on this one. So, my predictions are twofold. A, you cannot stop Max Verstappen this season. Max Verstappen has been on fire. Like I quoted before, there was a news story that I read. I wish I remember who it was. They said that they put it well. They said that the Max Verstappen game is put him anywhere in the field and see if he can win.
Mm-hmm.
So my prediction is Max Verstappen wins this. You know who else you cannot fuck with at this racetrack is Lewis Hamilton. This is a track that Lewis Hamilton has traditionally done very well at.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton will spin a car out to get on the podium.
And they just made him a fucking honorary citizen in Brazil.
Oh, yeah. And he did so very well. Last year, he came back from 19th or 20th on the grid to win the race. Like, Lewis Hamilton is a force to be reckoned with at this track, and they're gunning. They have a good to fair shot of getting second place in the Constructors' Championship. So I'm going to say second place is going to go to Lewis Hamilton, and third place will probably end up going to Charles Leclerc because he's the only Ferrari that can manage to get on a podium this season. Leclerc or Carlos Sainz did once, yes, but Carlos Sainz is also Mr. Consistent, and that he can spin out or get crashed into, so that'll probably happen going into turn one.
Not always his fault.
Happened last year though. Wasn't his fault last year, but it happened. Wild card prediction: Danny Ricciardo wins the race. Everyone feels bad for not giving him a new contract, and he is Mercedes number 2 driver next year.
Wow.
It's a stretch.
Well, so my predictions are similar to Tyler's. I predict that Max is going to win, and Hamilton's going to spin out Checo to get into second place, and Checo will tumble down the order, and then Charles Leclerc, who is following in fourth really closely, who would be doing well, he'll probably get pole, but Carlos Sainz to get spun out by Pierre Gasly, which will give Gasly an extra point on his license, so he'll be suspended for one race. And then Carlos Sainz will be out. Leclerc will finish fourth. And yeah.
That's kind of
wild card prediction. Wild card. The race does my wild card prediction is the race goes the way of Spa, and only 3 laps are run behind the safety car.
Oh. No,
Yeah.
that's not. I mean,
Let's not even put that out
um,
there.
It's out there,
yeah. Why
boys.
would you do that to him?
I'm feeling cynical, Distillery.
Well, that's okay. But like, I mean, even if it's raining, I mean, Max has proven to do very well there in the rain. He had that very famous drift come around the last turn, and held it together in his rookie season, which was pretty fucking incredible. I think that
Yeah.
was his rookie. But yeah, it rains. It does like to rain in Interlagos, so I think
I
they
mean,
know how to handle it.
it is a rainforesty area, isn't it? Brazil.
It's between two lakes, too. So there's water nearby.
Yeah, it's if the wind's blowing one way, it picks it up from one lake, but if it's blowing the other way, it picks it up from the other. So
It's a vicious cycle.
Yes.
viscous.
Dave, what
Viscous
is
cycle.
It's a viscous cycle. Ew.
Yeah.
Well, my predictions are I think Max is gonna have a rare off week. I don't think he's gonna really do a whole lot. I think he's gonna start in FP1 and he's just gonna be non I will say almost absent. I don't think he's just gonna be there this week. I think the Mercedes are gonna come on strong, but I think Checo's still gonna be I think he's gonna be popping. So I see Checo finishing this race in first. I see Mercedes outpacing Ferrari. So I see Russell and Hamilton on the podium with him. Wild card is I don't know. I like the Danny Rick aspect. Now, I don't know about
Yeah,
driving
isn't that great?
number
That's a
two
good
for
one.
Mercedes. I that's like a big stretch, but I think
They
he
fucking
wins. That'd
fire
be
George
cool.
Russell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gone.
Like, fuck you, George. Get out of here.
Fucking canned him. All right, well,
You're
those
Mr.
are the
You're Mr. Consistently pissing us off.
Right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, motherfucker. So that pretty much wraps up our Sao Paulo Interlagos section of the podcast. We're going to move on to we can move on to a gruesome death I kind of fell into the F1 black hole and found out about. Or we can
Tell
move
the
on to
tale.
engine talk.
Oh,
let's
I think the fans want to. I mean, obviously, got to come from a fan standpoint here, and you said gruesome death, so you've already piqued their interests.
It's
You had
pretty
some
brutal.
buzzwords.
go on.
So South Africa, 1977. Some of you might already know what this crash is, and who it involves and all of that shit. So,
No.
well, I'll tell you. Tom Price was a Welsh driver driving in Formula One in 1977. He was a pretty good driver from what I can gather. I don't remember I don't remember what he was driving, like what car company he was with, but so a different driver, Renzo Zorzi, his car was failing. This is at so the South African track has got another really long straight. So it was right at the beginning of the long straight when the cars are going super fucking fast. It's like a slight right hander to get to the straight. When this car lost power, so he pulls over to the side of the road, and he gets out because this car catches on fire. And he was getting out, and he got out of the car. He's off the track, and everything's fine. So, a 25-year-old and a 19-year-old, both marshals on the track, were right across the track when the car pulled over.
I know which one you're talking about now.
And when they saw that he was on fire, they ran across the track. Now, the 25-year-old made it, but the 19-year-old carrying the 40-pound fire extinguisher did not. And Tom Pierce hit him going 170 miles an hour.
Oh my god.
And the footage is fucking brutal because this kid flips dozen times, and
Yeah,
the
he's
centrifugal force is so much that his pants and shirt are ripped off of his body from how hard he's spinning. Now, that 40-pound fire extinguisher hit Tom Pierce in the head, and witnesses said that they witnessed his helmet look up toward the sky almost and just stay there, but it was still attached to his body. So it
Oh my
definitely snapped his
god.
fucking neck and caused it to aim up. His foot was still on the gas pedal. So his car is now going full tilt boogie down the straight, runs into another car, and then both get caught by the catch fence before they hit the stands. That fire extinguisher was hit with such force by the car doing 170 miles an hour that it launched through the air over a grandstand and hit a car with such force that it would wedge the door shut on the fucking car.
Damn.
Jesus.
Yes.
And that's so it killed the marshal that ran
Killed
across
the
the
marshal.
track,
Yes.
and the driver, right?
Yes, it did kill Tom
Yeah.
Pierce. They said he
What about-
died of his injuries later, but you don't. He was fucking
don't-
dead the second. The way the witnesses that say the way his helmet was facing, he was no longer in control of his body.
Yeah. Well, they also said the same thing about Senna.
That's true.
Jesus. Yeah, Senna was most definitely dead at the racetrack. Like,
If you
What,
get hit with a 40-pound weight doing 170
You're done for.
in the face,
I
you're
don't care
fucking
what
dead.
what kind of crash helmet you have. What happened to the
1970s.
driver he hit before they hit the wall?
It was Hans.
Gruber?
No, Hans Gruber.
Did he make it? And you said they went into the stands, so like more fatalities in the stands. How gruesome was this? It's just like hell on the track. What's going on?
yeah, it's like Le Mans that one year. I think it was like a Mercedes car went into the stands and killed 40 people or something.
It doesn't say what
Jesus
happened to the other
Christ.
driver, but he didn't die at that race, so he must not have had that many injuries. But the fucked up thing about the marshal that got killed is that his injuries were so extensive that the only way they were able to identify him was to call all marshals back to the track the next day for a meeting, and that was the only one that didn't show up.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a fucking gnarly crash. Like,
it is an gnarly
I've seen the
crash.
footage of it. It is very hard to watch.
I had to go through
Yeah, I don't
2
watch that
layers
shit.
of
don't care to see
age
it.
verification to see it.
Yeah, I don't care to see that stuff.
Brutal. Well, let's
Man,
get on
that's
to much
fucking
more happier
rough.
things because that actually had nothing. So I found that because
fucking dear, you told us before.
Rabbit holes,
nothing.
man.
I
rabbit
Rabbit
heard
hole.
this
holes.
brutal
Hey.
F1 death that has nothing to do with the track we were talking about. Do you guys want to hear about it?
Well, so I was looking for to see if there's like any major accidents or noteworthy things about the track, and then it said that the Juan Carlos Jose Carlos, he died, but not from a race. He died in a plane crash. And then it said that he would have, if he didn't die in the plane crash, he would have raced in the ill-fated and often talked about 1977 South African Grand Prix. And I was like, well, let's see what this is all about. And then I read that article and I was like, damn, that's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
But
That's rough.
we can move on
Yeah.
to the news section now.
News.
Yay.
News. I know I've been talking a lot, but I have a small thing about good news and happy news. If
Yay.
you guys want to hear about it.
I do.
Sure.
I always like happy news.
Yeah.
All right, happy news, happy news. Here's the happy
We
news.
gotta bring Dave down and see if we can bring him back up.
right.
Yeah, no shit. That's how you guys work at like the military, man. Fucking boot camp in here.
Which-
Bust
so
me
what-
down, build me up.
What do we miss most about the pre-hybrid era?
The sound of the V8s.
Yes. Now, one of the reasons why these motors sound so different, not only the fact that they're not V8s, but they are much low revs. Those V8s were redlining at like 19,000 revs a minute. Which if you're following home, that's I did the math once. It's like almost 250,000 explosions a minute. It's fucking crazy. It's 19,000 revolutions, and one revolution is 8 explosions. So it's fucking do that math. The cars now are usually redlining around 12,000. That's a high number, but it's not 19,000. And one of the reasons is because the MGUH, the no, it's not MGU. It's
Sound it out.
MGK. It's MGK. It's the there have been a lot of cars that have had a problem with it. But that H stands for heat, and I don't really know a lot about that part. But basically, there are magnets in the exhaust that get spun by the exhaust fumes coming out of the car, and those create energy, which goes back into the car. Right?
Oh, I
Does
get
that
you.
sound
Yeah,
complicated?
yeah. It
Yes.
does.
Because
Well,
it
I mean,
is.
yeah, I
And
get the
it's dumb.
concept, but
Right. So that was going back to when F1 was really trying to get new sponsors to come to the sport, and they were trying to make themselves as clean energy as they possibly can. Now, one alternative for clean energy and not using fuel anymore is to downgrade your motors. Another one is to go electric. But F1 found another one, and they could be using it's like a biofuel. It's like a fuel alternative.
Mm-hmm.
And if they use this, they probably won't go back to the 12s, 8s, or 10s or whatever, but they will definitely be getting rid of this MGUH thing in 2026.
I
And
remember doing something about that, reading something about it a while ago, and I believe F1 is going to drop the MGUH.
they are for 2026. And what that will do is cause the cars to run at a much higher RPM, and then we'll get a much more screamy sound from them.
nice. Sucks. We gotta wait fucking 4 years for that, or
Yeah,
3 years
but
now.
better
I guess,
late than
but
ever.
Yeah.
And like one of the things that's like kind of going to go more toward better engine noise for everyone, I think, and make the regulations for motors a little bit more lax is I think a couple races ago it was like an expedition event for the weekend. I don't remember what race it was at. Sebastian Vettel got in his very first debut race car for F1 that he was in, but the engine had been modified. It was a V8, but it had been modified to use the fuel alternative. It sounded exactly the same as it did, and it performed really well. And that told people, like, look what we can do with this alternative fuel. And it made the fans happy because they got to hear the V8 scream going down the track.
what kind
I
of
think they should
emissions does this alternative fuel have?
Better than fossil fuel.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like some sort of biofuel, I think, is what they were saying.
Yeah. If you have any
well-
questions about how good the fuel is, Sebastian Vettel drove a car with it. So,
And he is very much likes the environment. He likes
Aw.
planting trees and stuff. So
Trees are good.
it would be nice to see the V8s make a return. But it's also like realistically, my biggest complaint about the current era of engine is, well, I have two of them. They're really expensive to design, rebuild, manufacture, that sort of thing. There's a lot of components to it.
yes.
Between the two systems, the MGU-H and the MGU-K, which are the two systems that collect energy and power batteries and stuff for the boost. My second complaint is the sound. Like the V8 sounded the best. There's no getting around that.
The V10
There was something
really
about that screaming engine coming down a straightaway. And these cars just don't have that. But the cars overall are setting like lap times you never saw with V8s or V10s.
Right.
So that's something that I appreciate them for that they are as complicated as they are, they're not a weak motor, I don't believe. They just don't sound as good. That's all. That's my biggest thing.
It's got a little windy here real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, because it's a fucking hurricane barreling down on you.
Well, it just shook the place a little. We're okay.
Yeah. That's the first time Dave's been like,
A couple gusts.
oh, the wind. Oh, okay. Ooh. Gotta go set your mooring lines down.
Well,
They're
we'll be all
get that
right.
tight
We'll
up.
just- what's the worst that could happen?
Your house and you blow away. The hurricane just sucks you up, and then Dave's like, "Well, coming to you live from Jacksonville now."
I got full tanks, man. I'm heavy right now.
Yeah. All right, we didn't make it to Jacksonville, but we came crashing down to Daytona.
Can you imagine that? All right, I bought like 16 tacos from Taco Bell. We each got to eat 8 and have as much hot sauce we can. We got to fill these
Yeah.
tanks up.
Time is money. Let's go, go,
I need you to shit for days.
So the other news that has come out, guys, it was a slow week. There's not a whole
Very
hell of a
slow
lot
week.
has happened in the news.
Right.
But one of the stories I was reading was Logan Sargent, who is going to be the Williams driver next year, pending the amount of points he gets on his super license. And again, to do that, he needed, I think he was doing free practice on the last 2 races. So he did US, Mexico. He's doing one in Brazil, and I think maybe in Abu Dhabi he's doing a free practice. If not, I think his finale's there. So if he finishes at least 7th and does all those clean, he has a contract at Williams. Williams has no backup plan at this point. So if he fucks any of this up, then they're kind of screwed.
So I
That's
mean,
really
is Logan Sargent good enough to finish 7th and
I-
cleanly?
I'm going to be honest, I haven't done a whole lot of background research on
Yeah,
it, but
me
it
neither. I
sounds
don't
like
know a
it'd
lot
be
about
pretty
the guy.
easy for him.
Can't be worse than Latifi.
I mean,
I feel like it'd be like
Capitos seemed very confident that he was going to get it and be able to race for him next year. So
I feel like it'd be like asking Max to finish top 10. Like,
okay, one of
yeah,
those
right.
such. It's like, yeah, that's. I mean, he could do that sleeping kind of thing.
yeah. But it's an interesting
Fuck, I
situation
hate saying that, but it's true.
It's an interesting situation that Logan finds himself in this weekend running FP2 because he's running FP2, not FP1. And this weekend in Brazil is a sprint weekend. So
Sprint weekend.
the way that works is
We need buttons for
FP1
noises.
there's no FP3. So FP1 and qualifying is Friday, and that's qualifying for the sprint race, traditional sort of qualifying that you would think of. And then Saturday in the morning is FP2. And that's when Logan Sargent's driving the car, is during FP2, which would be Saturday morning. And then the sprint race is Saturday afternoon. So it looks really fucking bad if Logan wads the Williams up into a wall, because then Williams can no longer participate in the sprint race that afternoon.
Very true. So,
and I hope.
Oh, go. Sorry.
I was going to say, and I hope that is not something that keeps Logan Sargent up at night.
It probably is.
It would be. He'd be the first U.S. driver in a very long time to be an F1.
Yeah.
Say, I've never even heard of one. Oh, besides what, Andretti? But he's like, is he born in?
Yeah, but
US
Andretti, no, he was Mario was an Italian immigrant, I think. His parents came over, so I don't
Michael
think
is the American.
Yeah,
but he
Michael.
only did IndyCar, didn't he?
No, I think he did. Yeah, I think he did IndyCar.
I don't think he was an F1.
Well,
no,
I mean, I'm sure he raced other shit, but I don't think. Well, he wasn't an F1, was he? I don't remember.
He maybe had a very brief F1
Right.
stint if he did. But I think he was mostly IndyCar. So.
Cool, man.
So anyway, that's what I got on Logan Herta. And then if we want to go to
Logan Sargent.
God damn
Colton
it.
Herta.
Yeah,
he's also an American
Logan
driver
Sargent.
too. Colton Herta was the IndyCar driver that thought he would have a chance, but he didn't. He wouldn't have enough points, even close, on his super license.
Yes,
to race in F1.
Right.
That was determined months back, I think.
Yeah, but Logan does. Logan Sargent will. So,
there we go.
And I hope he does, because again, if they don't, Williams does not have a backup plan.
Yeah, they better start fucking getting something just like in the background, like get some plans going, something just in case, man. Something could happen. Fuck.
That's got to feel so shitty for Latifi. Like, oh, we're firing you, and the person we're going to hire maybe not be able to drive the car.
Might not legally be able to drive the car.
I
And
mean,
we
there might
still
be
think we're better off than you.
DNFs happen to everybody, so fuck,
Yeah, they
man,
do.
Yeah.
that's scary. That's a tense time for Williams.
Yeah. So then jumping into rumor corner real quick. I think we covered it last time. So if we did, I'm sorry. It is rumored. It's being
Rumored,
talked
people.
about around F1 circles. Helmut Marko had talked about this in one news story, and I think someone else did, but I couldn't confirm who it is. That based on performance, Mick Schumacher is going to be out at Haas, and he will be replaced with Nico Hulkenberg.
Nico Hülkenberg.
And Nico Hulkenberg drove for
Renault
and a few other teams in his F1 career, and he's been
Martin.
He's been a back. I think he was at Force India for a little bit too, and he was the backup driver at the start of the season for Sebastian Vettel.
It'll be funny if he gets on the Haas because he and Magnussen classically do not get along.
True.
Well, I think I saw something back. It was a little while ago, but I think they actually do. But a lot of that was overplayed of their
Netflix
relationship. Hype. Like, well, not just Netflix hype, but just a lot of media hype and even often like, whatever. But whatever I read, it was, like I said, it might have been a biased thing or whatever. Both of them just like playing nice to whatever. I don't know. Look, man, I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
Why are you guys asking me questions?
What you getting all up on me?
Anyway.
What do you want from me? So anyway, that's all I got as far as news. Again, it's been a slow week, and I think that this is going to be a trend that continues until the end of the season, until we have the final driver lineup position filled.
Yeah.
So I can't promise that the next few weeks are going to be explosive with news, especially getting to the latter part of the season. But I'm hoping that we have something a little more concrete next week. Next week to talk about.
Yeah, it would be nice to have. I mean, obviously we have a race review, but it would be nice to have some breaking news or something to throw in here, something exciting. Or maybe the race will just be exciting enough, and we don't have to worry about news.
Maybe because the last twos were pretty fucking boring.
Pretty boring.
Yeah. So let's hope for an exciting race. That's what I'm going for. That's all I want.
Good, wild card, it will be an exciting race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't say it like that, man. Oh.
Yeah, no shit.
That's just my prediction. It's going to be an exciting race.
Wild card, I take more than half a page of notes.
Yeah. All right. What's next, then, fellas?
I think that's pretty much it. We got everything we're going to talk about, and
I think so. Yeah,
it might be time to pull this one down to a close.
I think this might be time to close her on out.
I think
close
so.
her on out, boys. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been the Tire Preference Podcast. We really appreciate you tuning in and listening to us babble on about stuff with Formula One.
We all do. Thank you.
Appreciate you much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. And I have been Jake. Been sitting here with Tyler. Say hi.
The pause means
and
say
Dave.
hi.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
And if you want to see more content than us,
I fucked it up even worse. Sorry.
On shit that we don't fucking post on, you can follow. You can follow us on the social medias. You can follow me on Instagram at the Red Kennedy 45. You can follow me on Twitter at the Red Kennedy. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at the Preference Pod. You can follow it on YouTube, which is where you found it on YouTube at the Tire Preference Podcast. You can follow Tyler on
T.K.66.
You fucking idiot.
Don't worry about it. I can.
Dave, please bleep that.
It's so funny because every time he pauses, this time he didn't.
Oh, God, I was slightly distracted. That's the fucking worst part. It took 33 episodes. I finally did it.
Well, this
That's
is our
awesome.
triple threat episode. I didn't even know.
Yeah. 33s. I didn't
Oh.
think it was going to be anything huge again until like 50 or something, you know.
Right.
10 was
Yeah,
pretty
I don't think
big,
so.
but now we got to get to 50. We got to get more. We got to get that shit up. And
Yeah, we do.
I got work to do. Anyway, all right, now we'll get back to talking and we can cut it and
Fucking
editing.
fuck.
All right, okay, now, Dave, where can we find you guys at?
You can find me always maximum_Dave there on the Instagrams, and me and my wife at featuring next Friday on the Instagrams. And I'm still drinking. We're about to finish. Wife's asleep. I might do a massive Florida Keys photo dump here shortly, so look for that.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, thanks again, guys, for listening, and keep within track limits.
I say ignore track limits, hit the gas.
And I say hit the gas as hard as you can, and then find your braking points and make it around those turns safely.
Within track limits.
Within track limits. Damn it.
Well, with your foot on the gas.
Right. All right, you bastards. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, see ya.
Love ya. Bye.